few nights ago, I had a nightmare, and you were in it.
Oh, was I?
I was going to a haunted church, and I saw all these people that I knew, and Bill Boltz, our friend, was there, and I said, I didn't know you went to church, and he's like, well, I go to haunted church. You were a tour guide at the haunted church.
Oh, excellent.
So you were showing us all around the church. You were saying, like, okay, here's where the ghost flicks the lights on and off, and later on, you and I were the only ones left in the church, and then suddenly things start to get weird.
Which is only appropriate for haunted church.
Yes, and you get real nervous, and you're like, the ghost is doing, like, different things than it's supposed to be doing, like, it's turning the lights on and off over here instead of over there.
It's going off script.
Yeah. And that's so you said, I need to look into this. And you went down into a spooky basement. You left me alone in the church and all this weird stuff is coming out. And then I start to hear your footsteps come back up really slowly. Mm-hmm. And I said, Craig, is that you? No answer. Start to keep on coming up. And I'm like, Craig, if it's you, you have to say it's you. You have to say it right now. And there was no answer. And then as your footsteps neared the top of the stairs, I knew that the ghost had taken over your body and you were coming to get me.
Whew. Spooky stuff.
So I guess the dream was kind of like the movie Paranormal Activity.
Oh, I've never seen.
I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode I'm going to spring one on you. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to the basement.
Klaatu barada nikto, Matt.
Go back to where you came from, you foreigner.
We come in peace. No peanut butter. So, it's Sci-Fi July here in the basement. For these next 2 episodes, Matt has allowed me to run the show.
I couldn't be more excited.
On our last episode, Matt, you gave me a list of 8 movies recommended by our viewers, and those films were
Gattaca, Logan's Run, Soylent Green, Starship Troopers, Fantastic Planet, Dark Star, Quatermass and the Pit, Barbarella.
Let's just cut to the chase and say we're watching Dark Star!
Oh!
There we go. That was recommended by Jay Glover. I chose this movie as soon as you said it. I've been wanting to see it for years. It's got Bruce Dern and robots and outer space. It's the inspiration for Mystery Science Theater and Red Dwarf. And it turns out I was thinking about Silent Running. Yes. So I asked the clerks about Dark Star.
And they were like, I'm not even supposed to be here today, man.
One of the clerks said that she would rather watch Dark Star than Casablanca any day of the week. I saw that it was co-written by Dan O'Bannon, who also wrote Alien a few years later. And it's directed by John Carpenter, who went on to prove that popcorn movies can still have brains, wit, and social commentary.
And long fights in alleys.
The movie cost $60,000 to make in 1974.
Wow.
Originally it was 63 minutes long, but they were convinced to add 15 minutes onto it so they could make it into a full-length movie and distribute it. And it became a cult classic in midnight movies for the next few years. So, what do you think, Matt?
It's great. I like movies. Let's watch one.
Oh, but before we do that, I got you a little gift.
All right. Oh, look at this. Comic book, The Dark Stars.
That's right.
Well, this is not in gem mint condition.
Well, it's because I stuffed it into that box.
There's a little 9 Inch Nails ad in there.
To put it into historical context.
That'll help date the Dark Stars.
Yes. Are you ready to go on a wacky space adventure with me?
T-minus 10 and counting.
All right, well, let's hop into our spaceship and float into the deep recesses of space over to the old leather couch to watch Dark Star.
Pew, pew, pew. Whoosh. Dark Star, a piece of construction paper.
The scout ship Dark Star is 18 parsecs away from Earth,
Blowing up planets with talking bombs.
Bomb-based systems operational.
Thank you very much.
They're called Mumbai systems these days, fellas.
Do you read me, bomb?
I read you. Continue.
After blowing up planets, they speed off to the Veil Nebula.
Space. This part looks like a piece of liver.
Let's have some music in here, Boiler.
Sure thing.
Slow ride. Take it easy.
Sunshine down.
This isn't space music at all. You couldn't have rustled up a theremin from anywhere.
On board, we have Lieutenant Doolittle, Sergeant Pinback, who's a wacky guy.
Continue to deteriorate.
Photobomb! Boiler, who doesn't really have much of a character. And up there in the observation deck, we have Talby, who's thinking.
All these guys look like they should be hanging out in the back of a high school.
Yeah.
Like in 1979. We find out that Commander Powell has recently died. They encounter an asteroid field and they have to put up their personal shields to protect themselves from the asteroid. But during the incident, one of the communications lasers is damaged and accidentally arms one of the talking bombs.
The computer does convince the bomb to come back.
After this brief excitement, the gang gets a little recreation time. They stare vacantly into space and don't do much of anything.
He's a prankster, that Sergeant Pinback. Talby hasn't come down from the observation deck in quite some time. Doolittle goes up to visit Talby, and there they discuss surfing.
I used to surf a lot, Talby. I can remember running down on the beach in those early spring mornings on my surfboard.
I gotta do some stuff. And the Phoenix asteroid.
They're a body of asteroids that circle the universe once every 12.3 trillion years.
The computer informs Sergeant Pinback that he has to feed the alien. This is a creature that he brought on board because he felt the ship needed a mascot. Sergeant Pinback is kind of a dope. He goes to where they have the alien confined. It's basically a beach ball with feet.
When it's not really smart, or so it seems.
There's a little bit of goofing around between the two of them, and the alien escapes. He tracks it all throughout the ship. This scene looks familiar. Maybe I should get Lieutenant Ripley, Doolittle, to come help me.
And the alien tries to kill him, mostly by dropping him down an elevator shaft.
That mischievous little alien goes off and reactivates the communication laser, rearming the bomb. But the computer disarms it again.
But this is the last time.
Pinback accidentally kills the alien, which deflates, like the beach ball that it probably is.
And then the guys have lunch.
Boiler wants subplot.
Pretty soon they find another planet to detonate. Talby finds out, though, that the communications laser has been damaged, and he goes to try and fix it.
But he injures himself with laser beams, because that's how you injure yourself in outer space. They lower the bomb, and they're about to release it, but the release mechanism has been damaged. They try to convince the bomb to come back into the ship, but the bomb will have none of it.
Because it's already had 2 false alarms, and it's sick of it. It's going to detonate no matter what they say or do. Ground control to Major Bomb. Now these 3 hairy nincompoops have to figure out how to fix the situation. Doolittle goes and talks to the frozen corpse of Commander Powell, who tells him he needs to just talk to the bomb.
Teach it phenomenology, Doolittle.
Boiler and Pinback get in a stupid scuffle about who knows. They're idiots. Just kill Pinback immediately because he's useless. Doolittle gets in a starsuit and he goes out and tries to engage the bomb in some philosophical discussion.
How do you know you exist?
It's getting down to the wire. Boy, that bomb's gonna detonate in less than a minute.
Doolittle outsmarts the bomb.
I must think on this further.
The day is saved.
Well, them Dark Star boys just got themselves out of a whole heap of trouble. But how they're gonna blow up that planet? Well, I couldn't rightly tell you. They open up the airlock, but Talby's in the airlock, and so he gets shot out of the ship. Doolittle's gotta go rescue him. Excuse me.
The bomb finds a loophole in his own logic.
The only thing which exists is myself.
Bomb?
And seems to think that it's God, and it needs to create another universe.
Let there be light.
And Talby and Doolittle are blown off in opposite directions. Talby is shot off into the Phoenix asteroid belt.
I'm beginning to glow.
It's gonna come and pick him up, I guess.
And he's gonna be out there circling the universe for the rest of time. Meanwhile, old Surfer Doolittle finds a bit of space debris.
Well, time for there to be a reason for me to have had that conversation about wanting to surf.
And he goes out just like he always wanted to go out. And a blaze of glory. On a surfboard type thing.
Everyone's dead!
Dark star in the city.
They're not in the city.
They're 18 parsecs away from the nearest city.
What is a parsec?
I have no idea. I think it's 4 bushels.
I'll look it up.
Oh, excellent. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, we basically have that technology now.
It's true. A parsec is a unit of length used in astronomy equal to about 19.2 trillion miles.
Why did they choose that as a unit of measurement?
It's astronomy, man. I don't understand it.
I don't know either.
I just like to get high.
That's right. This movie, speaking of getting high.
You could smell the bong water watching this movie.
Yeah.
So Dan O'Bannon played the goofball
Pinback.
Sergeant Pinback.
That's right.
He was the co-creator of this movie. And he went on to create the story of Alien.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of parallels between those two films. Obviously, the scene where he's sneaking through the ship hunting the alien is one. But I think the larger parallel, and I think this is a way that this film was really revolutionary, is that space is dirty and boring.
Yes, there's nothing to do out there. A lot of people have called this movie Waiting for Godot in space.
Except in this instance, God actually arrives at the end.
Yes, he does.
And then quickly departs.
Yes.
Man, imagine if that's how Waiting for Godot ended.
Yeah.
Like, God just showed up with a bomb strapped to his chest, and he's like, "Hello, boys, Vladimir, Estragon, nice to know you." Yeah.
That's exciting theater. The parallels with Alien are not an accident. Dan O'Bannon was accused of stealing a lot of stuff for Alien, and he just came out and said, "I didn't steal from something, I stole from everything." But what he stole most from is his own work here.
Sure.
So, for a movie in which not much happens, there's a lot of mystery that comes along with it.
What is the deal with the video diary? I didn't get that at all.
I know.
This statement is for posterity. I just want to say that I am not Sergeant Pinback. My real name is Bill Frug, and I am a fuel maintenance technician.
He says that he's Bill Frug at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And
like
that
switches identity.
What's that movie? I want to know that movie.
Well, it's really similar to the movie in a lot of ways.
But not that we should talk that much about the movie. It was a student film. If the special effects look crappy, who cares? They did that in 1974 with just matte drawings.
The special effects never really took me out of the movie like they were really bad.
Yeah.
The alien is a little silly. It's obviously a beach ball.
And
but even the way they have it moving around, it really gives the impression that it's a living creature. The exterior shots of the ship look great.
that soundtrack is something that carried over throughout his movies up until the mid-'80s.
All you need is a keyboard and go, nah, 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 and you got a soundtrack.
That's the sound of your parents being asleep and you turn on cable in the middle of the night in 1985. That's
Yeah.
all you hear. So, Dark Star, final thoughts?
I felt like I was in space with a bunch of kind of dull dudes. And then there was danger, and then we all died.
Don't forget to check out our website, welcometothebasementshow.com. We got all of our videos there. We have an episode guide. We have our Hall of Fame. Lots of fun stuff. And maybe the most fun thing to do is to click on the PayPal button and make a donation.
That is the most fun thing to do.
Who doesn't like donating? Recent donors include Andrew, Gregor, Jesse, Hunter, Patricia, Waed, Carl, Philip, Ashley, Eden, and Reelzy. Thanks, guys.
I know Patricia in particular has donated many times. She's a
Has she?
big time multiple donor, so thanks a lot, Patricia. This is from Wyatt Terrence on Facebook. Just thought you'd like to be informed that Robster881's suggestion finally came to fruition. And then he puts a link to tvtropes.com where there is posted a definition of the Putney's Woke Panic.
TV Tropes is a wiki website that has long lists of tropes and cliches that come from movies and TV shows.
The definition of a term we came up with, called the Putney's Woke Panic, is there. And whoever wrote it did a really good job. There's a really detailed entry there. I will just read a little bit. Actions like writing numbers and shaving cream on bathroom mirrors, and lines including but not limited to, just want to tickle my stick, I like you homegrown, put feathers on my ass. Mr. Regency and I make out 5 times a night. That's why I call him Mr. 5. And you got no womb! It's no wonder the term was invented for Norman Mailer's perfect storm of shit, Sloane's words, tough guys don't dance. That movie gave us the Putney's Woke Panic.
Yes.
So now that that's out there, there are plenty of other terms that we've come up with that are ripe for TV Tropes entries, such as Shandango, Benched Movie, Rubik's Cube International Genius Symbol, Soul Horror, Udacity, and Zabriskie Threepeat.
And now it's time for Seen It.
Seen it. Gotta do Seen it, I guess.
Tonight's theme on Seen It is sci-fi. Philip Stephen McGuire, posting on Facebook, says, probably recommended before, but watch Plan 9 from Outer Space. Arguably Ed Wood's only hit film, and widely regarded as the worst film ever made. If you ever want to have a show like ours, you have to start out by Oh yes, Seen It! It's extremely mockable, and people have been doing it for nearly half a century.
And not only have I seen the film, but I have a role in the remake of the film.
Yes,
called
he does.
Plan 9. And if it's not out already, it should be coming out soon. I really enjoy Plan 9 from Outer Space. I think the acting is great, with quotes around it.
Yeah. And you stupid human. Stupid, stupid, stupid.
You know what that guy's name is?
No.
Dudley Manlove.
God damn it.
John Hitchcock writes, I'd recommend taking a look at John Carpenter's Escape from New York. It's an awesome, gritty action movie with a memorable anti-hero protagonist. Seen it so many times.
When I was a kid, I wanted my nickname to be Snake.
Snake Johnson?
Yeah.
A little too on the nose. I love this movie. It features the John Carpenter synth noodling that we love.
Yep. It's one of those things where you have an identifiable landscape, but it's all destroyed and you have to figure out where you are. And like a lot of Carpenter movies, it has a totally unnecessary boxing or wrestling match happening in around the end of the second act before the beginning of the third act of the movie. Corndog Ninja Films says, have you seen Hellboy? It's a quite good comic book movie with brilliant practical effects. America's caveman, Ron Perlman, strikes again in the title role with a fantastic performance. And it is a fantastic performance. Seen it. I keep forgetting that part. He has so much makeup to act through in that, and you can feel every single emotion he has.
I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I liked Hellboy 2 better than Hellboy. Lucky Star 2816. Hi guys, just curious, but have you watched the Korean film The Host? Seen it.
Seen it.
Man, that movie is so good. The way they use humor in that movie is incredible. They take these genuinely tragic situations and they make them funny. They really walk that fine line of humor and of suspense and of, bad things happening. The CG in there is so real. You can't see any strings. They do it with strings, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's how...
They're puppets.
Yeah, they pull computers around.
Yeah, it was a really good computer puppet. Matthew Miles. I recently watched Safety Not Guaranteed, and I have to say, a very good movie and touching. I don't know if you have seen it, but if you haven't, you guys definitely should. Seen it.
Seen it.
This is a movie that concerns time travel. Mm-hmm. What did you think of this movie?
I don't usually use this word. It was a bit twee. If the movie came out in 1995, I would have been all about the movie.
This movie was a real struggle for me to get through. I didn't like a lot of the characters, except for the Indian kid, who's great. At times during the movie, I kind of thought I might just turn this off. But once you see how the mystery kind of unravels, it's worth it sticking it out to the end. And it's very hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it in a big way, which we won't do.
Noah Albers on Facebook wrote, you guys should watch Flash Gordon if you haven't already. I really love that movie.
Seen it. I have seen it.
Seen it.
I really loved that movie when I was a kid, even though at the same time, as a kid, I looked at it and said, this is a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's fun when you can look back at those moments when, as a child, you started to have those kind of awarenesses, like, this is a shitty movie. At the same time, that scene where Timothy Dalton's got to reach into the thing and grab the thing, and it's so good.
My brother and I used to play this game. I would say Flash Gordon is still alive, like the Android Man, and then he would take my arms and say, alive? And then I'd say, no, he's dead. It's like, I didn't want him dead. Bring him to me alive. And I'd be like, Flash Gordon is still alive. Alive! And we just do the thing over and over again. A fond memory of my brother Ed.
All right, that's Seen It, and that's our show.
Tune in 2 weeks. We will have another sci-fi episode. It'll be one of the 7 remaining movies on the list.
Which of these remaining movies do you think Craig should pick? You can still let us know by leaving a comment.
And so from us at Welcome to the Basement, goodbye.
Talby, can you read me?
Talby, can you read me? You're without your jetpack. Talby, can you feel me?
Woohoo!
How will you get back?
Don't know.
Ooh, Talby,
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 Talby.
Talby.
The only thing which exists is myself.